Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Reverend Tolly Kwabi Tolly right here in Boston, Massachusetts. I want to say good morning to you. And today we're going to start a podcast on the Free Liberia movement. And there are many people who are really anxious. They want to see a better Liberia. They love their country so much, Mama Liberia, and they want to see something good coming out of it. Some people have even started a new project. And so this message is especially for the Nehemiah project uh, that has been started by people with very good intentions on the Republic of Liberia. And so I'm going to just be brief to this point as the starting of the project of Nehemiah and my perspective on the Free Liberia movement. So I'm going to start with this morning's podcast with the questions. We try to make this not as a religious or political. However, I'm informed by what I read. And so I'm going to start with the question. We have Liberia today as a country, as an African country. And there are people who were born in Liberia, like myself. And for full disclosure, I'm a Liberian citizen as well as an American citizen. So I have an American passport and I also have a Liberian passport. I have Liberian and American passport. And the question that we will try to answer today is, why is Liberia the way it is? You know, there are a lot of people, especially within the Nehemiah project, who want to see a better Liberia. But why is Liberia the way it is? Sometimes people wonder, why is it every time we elect people and they get there, they change? Why is it when they get there, they do something totally different? And they really can't understand something is wrong. Well, that's what we're going to explore today. Liberia. Liberia means land of liberty. Liberia means land of liberty, a place of freedom, the glorious land of liberty. But the first question we have to ask is, who gave Liberia that name? Who named Liberia? Whose vision is Liberia? And why is it the way it is today? That's the question we're going to answer. And after we answer that question, we're going to move on, and tomorrow will be on something different. Again, this is not a religious show. This is not a political show. However, I'm going to quote from the Bible because I'm a pastor and I view the word through the lens of the scriptures. Galatians chapter 6, 7. In short, it says you reap what you sow. Everybody knows that. Farmers in Nimba, Grand Jita, everywhere knows that. You reap what you sow. You sow, you reap. The question is, what is Liberia and whose vision is it? We have been told that Liberia, in the first place, is a land of liberty. But whose vision is this land of liberty? I want to take you back to traps. I was born in a village. I used to set traps, water traps, dirt traps, catgut traps, etc. And when you set trap, what you do is you give a deceptive information to the animals. Like fishermen live and die eating fish all the time. But in order for them to catch the fish, they have to deceive the fish. The fishermen will tell the fish, they don't tell the fish directly, but the message they send to the fish is, you are fine, you are free, but I'm here to feed you. I'm here to feed you and your children. You don't have to look for your own food. Just wait. I will bring a basket down with food inside. But what the fisherman does not tell the fish is that that basket has a one way in and no way out. And so once you enter, you cannot come out at all. You reap what you sow. And so if you want to get food, how about if you go and look for your own food instead of depending on the fisherman's food? Because fishermen do set traps, and the traps are intended one way in, no way out. They're intended to feed the fishermen. Liberia is a trap. Liberia was not envisioned by Black people. It was not envisioned by African Americans. It was envisioned by the government of the United States and corrupt American politicians who were also slave masters and white supremacists. I'll give you the proof. But the first thing is you reap what you sow. So if you want to reap, you sow. If you wait for the fisherman to sow for you, what the fisherman is bringing is a trap. He's not there to feed you at all. And he's not going to retire. He's going to eat fish all the days of his life. That's what we have as Liberia today. So if you want to fix Liberia, you can't fix it because of another reason. I'm going to read from the Bible. Matthew 7:18. A good tree cannot bear corrupt fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bear good fruit. Matthew 7:18. That's why it says. That means if the slave master had designed Liberia to be a trap and they gave it a name, Land of Freedom, telling the people, you can go there, we will feed you, you'll be fine, we'll give you foreign aid, we are here to help you. If you don't remember, you reap what you sow, and you want the fisherman to sow for you, you're in trouble. You're going to get caught in the trap. Liberia is a trap that people have been caught in. It was envisioned by the slave master. It was designed by the slave master, one way in, no way out. It was created by the slave master. It was named by the slave master, and it was branded by the slave master. You have an African nation, Liberia, today in 2014. The capital city is called Monrovia, City of Monrovia. It used to be the City of Christ, Christopolis, but they changed it from City of Christ in 1824 to the City of Monroe. 200 years, you have a country, you say that your country, you love the country. But this is a trap. It was envisioned. Who decided, let's create a colony? It was not the black people. It was the government of the United States and the slave master who decided to do that. It was not the black people at all. It was the slave master. So today we see that, number one, you reap what you sow, you reap. But if the slave master sows, if the slave master is going to sow, then what you get may be a trap, which it is. Liberia. Why did the slave master even call it Liberia? Because they wanted to deceive the people to believe that this is where they can have liberty. This is where they can have freedom. Why they didn't call it trap? If they were going to call it trap, nobody was going to go there. They wanted to move all the people from America, all the black people who were citizens. It was a trap set for American citizens. And then they tell us Liberia was created by the American Colonization Society. That is not true. American Colonization Society was not registered and incorporated until 1837. Liberia was founded in 1822. But the first law was March 26, 1790. And that law was contrary to the blueprint of America. The blueprint of America, July 4th, 1776, said, all men are created equal and are endowed by their creator, Almighty God, who created them. He endowed them with certain rights, God-given rights, the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's the foundation of America. 14 years later, America was hijacked by a slave master. They were only looking for money. Corrupt slave master, all they wanted was money, and they would do anything to get it. One of those people who passed that law, the first law, as a member of Congress, was James Monroe. James Monroe was a member of Congress from Virginia, and he was in Washington, and they voted, and they said that business about all men created equal is not good. It's going to hurt our business. We need only white people to be citizens of the United States. So the first nationality law in the United States, March 26, 1790, departed from the American blueprint of all men are created equal to a new blueprint of only white persons can be citizens of the United States. And so they passed a law. Liberia became the implementation of that law. How can we get rid of all these black people from here so that white people can remain in power and enslave these people forever? They passed a new law implementing the first law, and that law was the Indian Civilization Law. They passed another law, the Indian Removal Act, and then they passed another law which created Liberia as a colony of the United States government, using American taxes, $100,000, using the force of the United States Navy to create a colony for citizens of the United States who were black. For citizens of the United States who were black. I'm going to show you, and you will see for yourself, that Liberia was not created by African. The idea of creating a different place for American citizens who were black did not come from black people. It came from the slave masters, and it was carried out by the government of the United States at a time when American Colonization Society was not even registered. They didn't have a bank account. They were not anything. But they were corrupt officials of the United States government. You reap what you sow. If you want to sow, if you want to reap, you sow, and then you will reap. A good tree cannot bear corrupt fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bear good fruit. Matthew 7:18. So then we are stuck with this trap, and it has caused people to die. Go to West Point, see how people live. The richest country on earth has created a colony in Africa, and people living in that colony are living in West Point. You are the richest country. You're the most powerful country, and you say you have special relationship with America. We have a special relationship. Yeah, you got special relationship. Why is it they can't allow Liberians to come? So I've given an invitation to Kamala Harris. Some people say, "Oh yeah, Kamala Harris is good. She's going to bring solution to the problems we have." Not true. The system is corrupt. The American system is also corrupt because it was the American system that created a system to enslave people in Liberia. Kamala Harris is just like Donald Trump. Both of them are not going to bring the solution to the problem. Just how Liberia needs to be is exactly how America needs to be. Rebirth. We need a rebirth of America that's going to focus on all men are created equal. We need a rebirth of Liberia that's going to focus on you reap what you sow. You want to reap, you sow yourself. You don't have to depend on foreign aid or anything because those foreign aid is coming from people who are born naked just like you. So what do? Matthew 12:33 tells us what we need to do. Sow the seed. If we want good seed, sow good seed. And then it's going to germinate. And then it's going to bear fruit. But the fruits that it bears will only be good fruits. It's not going to be corrupt fruit. So we have to start from scratch. We have to envision, design, and create our own country. What we have now was not designed by us. It was not created by us. It was not labeled by us. It was not branded by us. You have an African nation in 2024 named in honor of a brutal, ruthless American slave master who was a white supremacist who all the days of his life, James Monroe, all the days of his life, he never freed one slave. In fact, after Monroe was named in his honor, 2 of his slaves ran away. James Monroe went and put an ad in the newspaper, bring them back into captivity. They cannot be, they are my property. We are honoring him, Monrovia. We should not do that. It's crazy to do that. We shouldn't do it. We have to change. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. But what's about Bourgeois Island, Bourgeois Washington? He was the first president of the American Colonization Society. He was Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice of the what? Supreme Court? Yes, United States Supreme Court. And he owned 100 people. He never freed anybody when his slaves heard that he was participating in this deception called Liberia, this trap called Liberia. They say, oh, we're going to be free. We're going to be free one day. We will be free even after he dies. He called a meeting. I don't want to hear anything about freedom from you. You guys are my property. You are not going to be free today. You are not going to be free tomorrow. You'll not be free even if I die. Bourgeois Washington. Today we honor him, Bourgeois Island. What's our John Marshall? John Marshall, Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. We got Marshall City, we honor him. The entire group that created Liberia were all the people. I'm not talking about the people they brought. The people they brought were citizens of the United States. But the people who created it were all slave masters who all the days of their life never free a single slave. And so we need to sow a good seed. We have to start from scratch. Look at the system of governance we have. It's corrupt. It's not free and it's not fair at all. For example, last year we had election. 46 political parties were registered by the Election Commission and certified by the Election Commission, but only 20 ran. The only 20 ran because the 20 were the only ones that got connection outside with money. It shouldn't be connection to money. It should be free and fair. And the United States government would say, it's free and fair, but they were the one who set the trap. So if you're setting your trap, you want more fish to go there, you put small food inside and say, yeah, that's the way it is. So who created Liberia? Slave master. Who envisioned Liberia? Slave master. What do we see today? What we see is exactly what they wanted to see. And I'm going to read a quote from the founders of Liberia. It is most confidently believed, this is written in the second annual report of the American Colonization Society, James Monroe, President James Monroe, President Thomas Jefferson, President James Madison, President Andrew Jackson. All these presidents were part of the thing they call American Colonization Society, but actually it was a trap. And so this is how we know it was a trap. And if you want to read it, I'll put the article for you, because all these things were written like 200 years ago. I was not there. I didn't write it at all. I'm only reading it because, thank God, my father taught me how to read and write. Amen. I shouldn't be saying amen, but I'll say amen anyhow. All right, so here it is. From the second annual report of the American Colonization Society, written over 200 years ago, it's most confidently believed, this is what we believe, the colonization of the free people of color, the citizens of America who are now white, their colonization in Africa will render the slaves who remain in America more obedient, more faithful, more honest, and consequently more useful to his master. It is proper to regard this happy consequence to both as the sole object which the society hoped to attain. There you have it. This is a trap. If we set this trap, the slaves that remain in America, our property will remain in slavery, but they will be more honest, they will be more faithful, they will be useful to the master. That's it. And if you read this for yourself, if you got brains in your head and you read this for yourself, will you come and say, oh, Liberia, let's fix Liberia? You can't fix something. A corrupt tree cannot yield good fruit. For 200 years, Liberians have been coming to this corrupt tree planted by the slave master. They didn't even know it was planted by the slave master. They said, oh, it was a non-profit philanthropic organization, humanitarian. Lies. James Monroe was not a humanitarian. Go to Google, put James Monroe slavery. You want to read about him. Go to Google and type Bourgeois Washington slavery. You'll read about him. Go to Google, type Chief Justice John Marshall slavery. You're going to read about him. Slave masters came together, and because they were high-ranking officials of the United States government, used the apparatus of government. They passed two laws. The first law was called the First Nationality Act. Today, that law still ravages the lives of American citizens and their descendants in West Point, Liberia. It has to stop. Who's going to stop it? We are going to stop it, because today I'm citizen of the United States and the American government works for me. I set trap in the village, but it was for animals. I don't believe this trap in West Point should continue at all. And therefore, as a citizen of the United States, I'm fighting to bring this to an end. But I'm not alone. Honorable Benjamin Swan, a retired member of the legislature right here in Massachusetts, he was the first person that told me Liberia was the first colony created by the government of the United States. He's 90 years old. He's retired, but he supports this. There's a white man called Paul Bathwell. Paul Bathwell supports it. He took a trip all the way to Liberia. He went with me to the U.S. Embassy to present a petition. Let my people go. Set the people free. We can't be set free when we have a government that's depending on foreign aid. I think the president has gone abroad now to look for business, foreign investment. Look, the success of a country depends on the mind of the people, not the minds of gold and diamond that is looking for natural resources on the ground. This is our best resource. This is our greatest resource. But if you neglect educating the citizens and you think that you're going to open up a gold mine for people to kind of dig gold, take it abroad, and you're going to get rich, that does not make sense at all. But that's the slave master construct. That's their vision, that is going to keep people, as they say, in slavery forever. This is the slave master now. It is most confidently believed that the colonization of the citizens of the United States, the black ones, citizens of the United States. How do we even know they were citizens of the United States? I have statements here from presidents. I'm going to read it and I'm going to close. Presidents of the United States said this was citizens of the United States. And for 200 years, they've been lying to us. They say, oh, free slaves. Yeah, we freed the slaves. We sent them. Wrong, lies. Those who came were citizens of the United States. How do I know? The deed for the land. The deed for the land said this is going to be for citizens for settlement of citizens for the day. For the first 7 years, when the United States government started transporting American citizens of color from America to Liberia, for the first 7 years, all the people who came were not free slaves. Yes, free slaves came later on, but the first 7 years, everyone that came were citizens of the United States of America, and they had rights. The Constitution of 1824, Article 1, approved in Washington, D.C. All persons born in Liberia are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by citizens of the United States. Everybody say, oh, the thing happened a long time ago. That thing not passed. Well, let Liberia be here. We are Liberians. We love our country. We want to go to America in a trap. You say now in a trap and you say you love your country. You are fulfilling the desires of the slave master. The colonization of the free people of color, the citizens, will render the slave who remain in America more obedient, more faithful, more honest, and consequently more useful to his master. It is proper to regard this happy consequence to both as the sole object which the society hoped to attain. This is trap. When Ghana was free by the British, it was called Gold Coast because the British only wanted to steal the gold. When Ghana was set free by the British, they were free to call their country a new name, and they decided they're not going to put their basket in gold, but they'll put it in the people. Ghana, the land of Ghana. They honor the people. When Rhodesia was independent, it used to be called Rhodesia, but then the Africans, after they got independent, they were free to think, to come up with a new name, not the slave master's name, not the colonizer's name. They said the country is Zimbabwe. They changed the capital city name from Harare to, they changed it from Salisbury to Harare. Those are free countries. But you cannot have an African country designed by slave master. They wrote this nonsense that they're doing it to keep slaves happy in slavery and obedient in slavery. And then you say, oh, our country is called Monrovia. Our country is called Liberia. Where did that name come from? Freedom in a trap, West Point. It came from the slave masters. So we have to reject that. And some people say, oh, okay, let's just change the name, then everything will be fine. The system of government will have its good. We have an election. That is not true. Nobody in Liberia created a system of governance. It was not designed by the people. It was not envisioned by the people. It was not designed by the people. It was designed by politicians according to the will and pleasure of the slave master, because it was designed to empower and enrich the politician. So that according to the slave master, to keep things going that way all the time, they have to have the politicians to be empowered and enriched. For example, where did you get a law from that you get 9 years for senator? Did that come from the people? No. Go in the street, ask Liberian people, do you want your senators to be in power for 9 years when American senators are there for only 6 years? They will tell you no. They told me no. You ask the Liberian on the street, question, do you want your lawmakers to decide their own salaries and benefits? They tell me no. They say, if I got a shop and I decide I'm going to hire the person to work for me, I will decide the salary of that person. In the state of Texas, they have $119 billion because they invested in their citizens. How much the lawmakers made in the state of Texas? $7,000. For $919 billion state, $7,000 for lawmakers, no car. And then in Liberia, we don't even have $1 billion. Lawmakers got 9 years that they set for themselves. And then their salary is $15,000 and they got free car, free gas, free driver. That is not coming from the people at all. And so you need to start from scratch. You need to have something called the Sovereign Citizen Convention, because the power is in the citizen. Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution, it says, all power is inherent in the people. And the government is designed for the safety and happiness of the people. And whenever the people are not happy with the system of governance, it's up to the people to change it. So we can't say we'll change it by election, because the election law says you got to have $500 to register to become a representative. You got to have $750 to register to become a senator. You got to have $2,500 to register to run for president. You got to have $10,000 in the bank account you want to run at all. $10,000 US in the bank account. Why not 10,000 Liberian dollar? We are not an independent country. We are a colony created by the government of the United States for the purpose which we just stated. And when they created it, they passed a law in Washington and said anyone born in that territory, because they wanted to move the people from America to that territory, they said anyone born in that territory will have all rights of American citizens. That's the law. This place will be, Liberia will be a place for settlement of American citizens forever. That's the treaty. 1837, 1938 Treaty of Friendship, Commerce, and Navigation. It says, anyone in Liberia can come to America anytime, open up a factory, open manufacturing, do religious business for free. And for over 100 years, Liberia was not even a democracy, because in April 1822, the American flag was planted on the territory. Once they paid the money, it was done by hook or crook, but they paid money nevertheless, and they planted the American flag. It became American jurisdiction under the control of the United States Navy. Fast forward, for the first 20 years of Liberia, from 1822 all the way to 1841, only white people were in charge in Liberia. Only white people were in charge in governance. Black people were not given. So if it was envisioned by black people, why black people cannot rule? Then on July 26, 1847, I disagree. I love the woman who gave the July 26 narrative or oration, but I completely disagree with her that July 26 is the day of defiance. I disagree with her because of this. On July 26, the flag that flew over Monrovia was not the Liberian flag. It was the American flag. How can you have an independent African country under an American flag? And furthermore, the Liberian Declaration of Independence said we, the people of Liberia, were Americans. What's all the other people? And for 100 years, the government of Liberia did not include indigenous native Africans at all. It was for Americans. And Americans will come. 10 African Americans became president of Liberia. All of them were born in America. This was an American jurisdiction. It was created, it was envisioned, designed to be an American jurisdiction. It is still an American jurisdiction today. And because of that, all Liberians are entitled to all privileges of American citizens. Liberians don't need to get visa to come to America at all. And we have taken the matter to court. We are going to prevail in court because we have the American laws that back us. We have Liberian laws that back up. We have treaties, and that's the way it's going to be. So going back to the Nehemiah group, you want to fix Liberia? That thing was envisioned, designed, created, branded by slave masters. If you don't know, I'm going to put the article there for you to read for yourself. So if the slave master designed this thing, why should you come and try to fix it? You can't fix it. It's already been created. When you create a boat, you design a boat, it's going to float on water. If you want something to go on land, you don't have to go take the boat and bring it on land. Leave the boat alone and create something new. That's called rebirth. That's what Jesus did. Rebirth. He said, except a man is born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. So what is flesh? That which is born of flesh is flesh. Leave that boat and can't create something else. If you want something to fly in the sky, you can't take the boat and say, the boat that these people created a long time ago, I will fix it and fix it and fix it until it will become an airplane. It will never become an airplane. So to the Nehemiah group, I want you to read the origin of Liberia, the envisioning of Liberia. You reap what you sow. We can't have anything but what was sown by these people. It has to be rejected, and we have to sow anew from the people, not politicians. The Sovereign Citizen Convention will be led by the people, not politicians. The ordinary people will design the state they want, how much they want to pay their lawmakers, how long their lawmakers will stay in power. They will design to give themselves the veto power and not to the politician. So if they make law that is not good for the citizen, that's how democracy works. It's called participatory democracy. It's working in Switzerland, it's working in Arizona, it's working in different places around the world where the people are honored for their God-given gifts and talent. Well, I'm going to send you that article for you to read for yourself. I didn't write it. It was written a long time ago. So you know I'm not 200 years old. Even if I were, I didn't write it at all. This thing we call Liberia, it was not designed by us. It was designed to trap us. And we have been trapped for 200 years. But with the new information, with the truth, the Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Again, this is not a Bible class. But I'm going to give you the factual information for you to read. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. All men, all women, all human beings are created equal. And they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. God-given rights. It was not given by men. It cannot be taken away by men. All persons born in Liberia are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by citizens of the United States, because Liberia is a colony envisioned by the government of the United States and slave masters, created by 2 laws passed by the United States Congress and signed by 2 presidents who were slave master all the days of their life, George Washington and James Monroe. Never free anybody. So this business of Liberia being a place for free slaves from America is not true at all. It's a trap to entrap people. But now we know we have to demand visa waiver, because the money they're collecting, whether it's part of the corruption, we demand they refund the money with interest and open the door for all Liberians to go to America without visa, to access quality education, employment, and business opportunity, to be able to have a country where all citizens can participate in the development, not just a few politicians who have access to Harvard University coming from America with money running campaign, blah, blah, blah. So we stop there. You reap what you sow. That's why we say a good tree cannot bear corrupt fruit. This corrupt tree that was planted a long time ago by this slave master continues to bear corrupt fruit, and people keep coming to it. Don't go to this corrupt fruit. Don't go to Monrovia. You can go to Duco. And we don't need to just change the name. We have to change the substance. A sovereign citizen convention, a new constitution by the people, where public servants who will come and swear to obey the constitution will come in power. Their salaries will be determined by the people. The law they make will be vetoed by the people. That's called participatory democracy. And so to the Nehemiah group, I'm going to send you the information, read it. And if you got questions or comments or concerns, get back in touch with me. But we can't fix something we didn't create. Slave masters created, and they told us they were not slave masters, they were humanitarian, which they are not. I'm going to prove to you from this article. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is part of our podcast, the Free Liberia Movement, Visa Waiver for all Liberians, to access quality education, for them to be able to lead the development of their country, not wait for foreign investors or foreign aid. And when we start in Liberia, we'll carry it to Sierra Leone, because it's the same condition people in Sierra Leone are in. Most countries in Africa are in the same thing, and they have to go get drowned in the Mediterranean trying to go to Europe. Don't go to no Mediterranean. Sit in your country, and we're going to be able to organize the people, not the government. We'll organize the people to demand visa waiver for the colonial powers, because for over 100 years, Americans came to Liberia without visa. So why shouldn't Liberians come here without visa when there is a law, when there are treaties that said this is an American jurisdiction? I want to thank you so much for your time, and God bless you. We'll continue with this next time. If you're on Facebook, please share the video, share the video, make comments. Don't just sit there, make comments. And if you challenge it, if you have information of a rebuttal, go ahead and do it, post it, and we'll be able to respond to it. Thank you very much. God bless you. And we'll be continuing on another day. I am Reverend Toli Krua, Kwa Abi Toli Bao. All right. That's the end of the stream.